This is our Sprinter van. If you follow us on Instagram, you saw that we converted it into a mobile tiny home last year and drove it cross-country. By the time we got back, there was a lot of paint missing and more peeling off by the second. In this video, we'll show you all the steps we took to give this old van a fresh paint job.
Before we could get to the fun stuff, we had to take off everything we don't want painted, including the headlights, solar panels, and the emblems.
With all the ancillary stuff off, we used our random orbital sander with a 220 grit pad to scuff up the paint and smooth out all the areas where it was peeling. We also hand sanded the spots where the orbital couldn't reach, making sure to get into all the nooks and crannies. To ensure the surfaces were smooth, we ran our hand across the panel and made sure we couldn't feel any bumps or transitions. Then we gave the van a good scrub down to get rid of all the dust and debris.
Once the van was dry, we went over each panel with a tack cloth and used a white Rust-Oleum primer to cover any areas where we sanded down to the bare metal. This will ensure that the final paint coat can lay on evenly. Also note that we're keeping all the dents and dings on the van because 1, we're not good at bodywork, and 2, we think that the dents give the van a bit of character.
Moving right along, we masked off the areas we didn't want painted with plastic tarps and painter's tape. We learned later on that overspray gets everywhere, so being meticulous at this stage saves a lot of headaches down the road. Since we are going for a two-tone paint scheme, we exposed the rocker panels and masked off the top portion of the van right at the body line.
This is a paint job on a budget, so we use standard Rust-Oleum, oil-based enamel, instead of regular automotive paint, which was about 4 times the price. Of course, we had to try out that painter's tape spout trick floating around the internet, and we give this hack like a 7 out of 10 because the paint still drips down the side, but it does keep the rim clean, which is nice. We mixed gloss white with hunter green in a 3:1 ratio to make this awesome minty color.
To prep the mixed paint for the paint gun, we thinned it out with mineral spirits and added a catalyst hardener to help the finish become more durable and a little shinier, like automotive single-stage paint. We mixed 4 parts paint to 3 parts reducer. You can use acetone, mineral spirits, or paint thinner, and 1 part hardener. The mixing cups here have a variety of ratios printed on the side to help make sure you get the right proportions. Be sure to mix the solution really well so all the components are blended evenly. And always use a strainer when pouring into the paint gun container because you don't want any contaminants clogging the gun.
This is our first time using an electric spray gun. This one in particular is super convenient because it doesn't rely on a separate air compressor, making it really simple to use. It has multiple adjustments for the spray pattern, and we dialed in the perfect setting on a piece of cardboard. We aimed for a 6-inch vertical pattern when spraying from about 6 inches away from the surface without any of the paint running.
Using a tack cloth, we wiped down the panels one more time. Then we laid the first coat down on the van. After waiting about 2 hours for it to set, we followed up with another heavy coat and then called it a night.
Not bad!
With the minty green coat dried overnight, we taped and masked it off so we could paint the rest of the van in gloss white.
You could basically just let it hang. Oh no, CP!
What?
Who did this paint tape job?
What?
Left a whole gap right here.
Oh.
A huge, that's a pretty big gap.
Oh, Baba, no.
Well, luckily a little bit of acetone wiped off the overspray pretty easy.
We started with the same 4-3-1 ratio of paint, reducer, and hardener with gloss white, and then sprayed from the top down. After the first coat, we noticed the paint was slightly runny in some areas, so we switched up our second coat to have a 4-1 ratio.
Once the final coat was almost dry, but still a little tacky, we peeled the painter's tape off the minty green transition. Then we let the paint cure completely for a few days before removing the rest of the painter's tape.
In total, we used a little more than half a gallon of gloss white paint, just a dollop of hunter green paint, 3/4 gallon of mineral spirits, and 3 pints of hardener to give the whole van a couple of thick coats.
To finish off the project, we reinstalled everything that was removed and updated the grille with a proper Mercedes logo.
After all that, this is how the van turned out.
We're gonna pat ourselves on the back here. For the first time painting a car, it came out awesome, and we couldn't be happier. The minty green is a perfect pop of color, and the van looks fresh to death.
So fresh. Thanks for sticking around, and if you liked the video and learned something new, please give us a like and subscribe for more content.
Thanks for watching.